What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another haircut tutorial. This is Con Chung from Concept Barbershop out here in San Jose, California. Welcome back. Today we're going to do a skin fade on this young gentleman, this young lad with a bright future. Right now what I'm doing is I'm combing out all the knots in the hair, make it a little easier for the clipper to work with. Alright, so comb everything out. And now I'm going to spray it down with some water just so I can make it a little neater. Separate the longer hair from the shorter hair so I can see what I'm working with. Alright, comb everything out before you move on. And to help me see the line better and to help keep everything in place, I like to pin it up. So I'm going to pin both sides of the head, just so when you're fading, you're blending, that the longer hair doesn't get all messy and get in the way and fall down to the bottom. Alright, so now I'm going to take everything down with a number 2 all around the head. If you use the comb can help hold the longer hair in place, and it'll make it easier for the clipper to cut the hair. Sometimes with the longer hair, when you're taking the clipper up, it can move around and it doesn't really cut, so the comb helps hold everything in place. And what you want to do is you want to take the number 2 all the way up to where the 2 hair parts, to that line right there. Alright, you want to take everything down all around the head. This is just a rough draft right here. I would just want to take the majority of the bulk down before I thoroughly run everything over with a number 2. Make sure everything is nice and even before I move on. Right now what I'm doing is I'm setting in the ball line. And because my clippers are all 0 gap, I don't, and it's very sharp. And the kid's skin sometimes get really sensitive to that. So I open up the lever just a little bit, which is still good enough to take the hair down to very close to the skin. And because their hair is so fine that it's not much of a difference. Okay, so I take that line to the back of the head, and then halfway, and then I start again on the other side, and then I meet both the line in the back of the head. This prevents your line from being crooked. If you start the line from one side continuously all the way to the other side, your line can be a little off, it can be a little lopsided. So I like to do half at a time. Now I'm going to start the blend. The clipper is slightly open because that's what I set the original line as, slightly open. So now I'm just going up about 1/4 of an inch all around the head. Once I reach the other side, I'm going to open up the clipper a little bit more. And then I'm going to repeat the step back and forth until I'm fully open with the clipper. Alright, so I'm going up about 1/4 of an inch. Once I get to the other side, I open it up. I go up another 1/4 of an inch, and I keep repeating it until I'm fully open before I move on. Alright, and after that, then I would brush down the hair to clean the space that I'm working with. And then I go back and I do touch-up work. Alright, you see me right here cleaning them up. Alright. Keep them clean, keep them comfortable. Alright, especially for little kids, because if the neck starts itching, you're going to have a difficult time keeping them in place. Alright, so keep them clean for your own good. So I brush them off just so I can do some touch-up work. And after I did my touch-up work, then I move on to the next guard, which is the 0 guard or the half guard, 1/16 guard, whatever you want to call it. And then it's the same technique. I'm up about 1/4 of an inch from one side, work it all the way to the other side. And then I open up the clipper again, and I'm going up another 1/4 of an inch, and I repeat it back and forth until I'm fully open with the clipper. Alright, and after you're fully open, you repeat the same step you did before, which is brush them down, clean them up, and do your touch-up work before you move on to the next guard. If you do that, you won't have a problem with having dark spots. Okay, so clean up your work, do your touch-up work before you move on. If you wait till the very end, to do your touch-up work, you might make a mistake and you might put in light spots where you didn't mean to put them in, because you might misgauge how open you were with the clippers and stuff like that. You might forget. So do your touch-up work before you move on. And if you see, I like to blend with a circular motion. I don't really go straight up and down with the clipper. I do more of a circular motion. In my opinion, I feel like that technique is very similar to using the corner technique and the C motion. It helps me blend it out better for me. And right now I'm at the one guard, and again it's the same technique, back and forth. Open up the clipper a quarter of the way, back and forth, and you repeat it until you're fully open with the guards. Alright, and then you brush them down again, you do the touch-up work, and then you move on to the next guard. It's the same technique, repeat it back and forth until you're fully open, until you move on to the next guard. This is the 1.5 guard. I'm very fortunate. This kid is a very good kid and he sits in place. Sometimes you will have kids that move around a lot, or sometimes they're scared. This time I'm lucky. Okay, what I'm doing right here is I'm again ready to do the lineup. I'm separating his forehead hairline with the longer hair. And now again, I'm gonna pin the longer hair away from the forehead just to make the working space a little easier for me. Alright, pin everything up, comb everything out so you can see what you're working with. And I like to spray it down a little bit with some hairspray just to help hold the hair in place. Just a little bit better. It makes your lineup come out a little better too because the hair is all straight. The kid does have a little bit of wavy hair, so sometimes when you're lining them up, the hair can move all over the place, so the hairspray will help hold it down and in place. Just a light spray. Alright, and then I like to take it down a little bit, not so much, still keep it dark, just to make the workspace a little bit neater, because it's harder for you guys to see, but his hair is a little fizzy and it sticks up and stand out everywhere. So by me taking it down a little bit, it makes it a lot neater to work with, but yet I'm still keeping it dark, just a little bit. And you're going with the grain when you're doing this technique right here. And what I'm using is the number 1 guard. Different situation you'll use different guards, but in that case I used the number 1. And again, with the lineup, you start right in the middle. You set your starting point right in the middle, and then you gauge it, and you determine what side you want to go to first. And to determine that, you would pick a side that is either lighter or is higher up on the forehead. In this case, we're going to the left. Alright, take it to the left. I set in the side of the head, and then I start back in the middle, and then I repeat the step to the right. Same technique. Always start in the middle, face to face with the client, and let your clipper do all the work. Don't move your body. Stay in place so that you can have the point of reference always in your sight. Because if you move with the clipper, you're gonna throw yourself off, and the line could be, crooked. Okay, after I line them up the first time, I comb out the hair again, and then I do touch-up work again with the lineup. Just because when you comb it, again, you'll see that there's hair that didn't get cut, and you do this to make your lineup even more crispier. Alright. Did a lot of touch-up work on this kid's front lineup, just to make sure it's straight and all that. Alright, these are the detail work that you guys should try to incorporate into your habits. After I cut them Right now I'm freehanding and I'm cutting all the loose hair that's sticking out on the side of the kid's head. Alright. You want to keep everything clean, you know, get all the loose hair that's sticking out. Alright, and there it is, you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.